Hey folks, my name is Jen, and today we are going to talk about, oh, you can actually see it a little bit, the massive stack of books that I have set aside for my spring TBR. So if you saw some of my introductory videos to this year, you might have heard me mention that I'm changing how I do my TBR. I'm no longer doing monthly TBRs. I'm instead compiling everything into seasonal TBRs just to take a little bit of pressure off of myself. So today I am introducing my spring TBR. I'm hoping to have this video up for basically the first week of March. So basically these are books that I'm going to be focusing on over the course of the spring for various reasons. First of all, I have things that are kind of rolling over into the next month. So first of all, I am still doing my reread and annotation of The Count of Monte Cristo. So this will be obviously rolling over into at least March. I'm hoping to be finished with my reread of this by the end of March. I did not get to The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I've been so preoccupied by other things. I've just honestly not been in the mood. But I am going to try to make a conscious effort to get through this. And I think I've mentioned it before in videos, but my friends and I and my husband, we go away in either February or March and just have a long weekend away, and we play games and we do different stuff. We eat a lot of good food and drink a lot of beer because a couple of our friends own a brewery, and yeah, we just have a lot of fun. Typically pack a couple of books with me, and usually I pack fantasy and mystery. So I am planning on bringing this with me because I feel like the vibes there for this book will be immaculate, because we found this Airbnb in a cabin up in Maine, so I'm hoping that, the idea of being snowed in-ish and everything will be, and with a roaring fireplace and everything, this will be the perfect atmosphere for me to be in the mood to actually at least get further along in this than I have. I think I'm only a chapter or two in. Basically, I started off rereading the Harry Potter series. I just read the first book with the intention of only just reading the first book because I just wanted a cozy start to the year, and then decided, hell, why not reread it, because I legitimately have never actually reread the series in its entirety. I've reread the earlier books, so that's what I'm currently doing, and I've kind of broken it down to maybe reading one of those a month, pretty much. So for the springtime, I'm hoping to get through books 3, 4, and 5. The series that I'm also getting through. So currently, I am partway through The Hidden Oracle. We are still in February right now. I mean, it's later February, which is why I'm filming this video ahead of time. But we're still in February. I still have a few days in which I could potentially get further along in this series, but I will not have finished the series by the end of the month. I know that one. So I will at least hopefully have finished The Hidden Oracle and maybe started this book too, but I am going to continue my reading of the Trials of Apollo series so I can catch up with the other Rick Riordan books that I own. Namely, I really want to get to the Chalice of the Gods, but I'm also hoping to get to The Sun and the Star, but that might end up being a summer read. I actually finished reading The Hobbit, and I'm honestly quite shocked that I enjoyed it as much as I did, considering that I have DNF'd The Hobbit and The Fellowship of the Ring multiple times over the years. So I don't know, I guess right timing or something. So in the interest of continuing this excellent timing, I am planning on, for that get-together with friends, I am planning on bringing The Fellowship of the Ring with me to read. It's a little bit daunting because it's thicker than The Hobbit. The writing is smaller than in The Hobbit. I'm a little nervous, but yeah, I'm gonna at least bring this with me and try to give this a read. And then, I don't know, maybe things will go well with this spring, and then I can also get into The Two Towers and The Return of the King. And let's see, we can go into, I guess, other books that I'm potentially gonna bring with me to that weekend. So I usually bring a couple of mystery novels. I recently got a new Agatha Christie, but I've already read it, and I do have another unread Agatha Christie compilation. There's like 4 novels in one, but it's kind of heavy and thick, so I don't really know if I can technically fit it in my bag. We try to travel a little bit light because there's 4 of us squeezed into a car to carpool up there, so I don't think I'm going to bring that. So I looked at my other mysteries that I have. Typically I read vintage cozy, so I'm potentially going to be bringing The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. I've read another Dashiell Hammett, The Thin Man, which I enjoyed, although I like the movies a lot more. But I've heard, like, this is such a classic. I know there's been a movie of this as well. So I'm thinking that I might bring this with me, because that place just, when we go away, just the atmosphere of everything just begs for, like, fantasy and mystery. It feels really cozy, because we normally, there's a lot of us, so we normally stay in, like, this time, we're staying in a big cabin, but we've stayed in, like, mansions before that people have just turned into Airbnbs pretty much. So it just ends up being overall a good atmosphere for that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm thinking about that one, and then if I decide that I don't want to bring that, I might also bring Blood Sisters by Vanessa Lilly. And this one I'm pretty excited about. I haven't been telling you what any of these books are about, have I? The Maltese Falcon is Treasure Worth Killing For, Sam Spade, Private Eye with his own solitary code of ethics, perfume grifter named Joel Cairo, and Bridget O'Shaughnessy, treacherous woman, beautiful, loyalty shift at the drop of a dime. I don't know, it sounds like your typical old Private Eye film where, you know, she walked in like she was $1,000,000 and da-da-da-da, and my head was pounding like castanets after my hangover pulled a whiskey thing from my... I can't do the thing, but you get what I'm trying to get across here. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling. Blood Sisters is, this is following an archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and she ends up being, like, called back to her hometown. She had a terrible night that basically has haunted her for like 15 years. It happened in her hometown in Oklahoma, and a skull that was recently found there basically calls her back to face her demons and also solve a mystery, which sounds really compelling. So I did want to read this more sooner than later, so even if I don't bring it on this particular like weekend getaway or something, I do really want to get to this sometime in the spring season. Speaking of things that I really want to get to, I also really want to pick up God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater by Kurt Vonnegut. This is a story about a man who is like the heir of this really rich foundation, and he decides one day that he's going to do an experiment and provide like money and advantages to like this town and take it on like a pet project kind of thing. Apparently it's like a very satirical work, everything. I don't 100% know what to expect, but it sounds really interesting, and I really wanted to read more of Vonnegut's writing, so that I really want to get to soon. We also have middle grade March stuff. So I did see the announcement video, but I don't think I'm actually gonna join in this year. I don't think I'm gonna follow the prompts or do anything like that, just because, I don't know, it's not really speaking to me this year, I guess. I don't know, but I do still want to like try to get through some middle grade. I do have some middle grade on my shelves that I wanted to get to, so I have a couple of those, and two of them are new to me. The first of which is a Nancy Drew, and it is The Haunted Bridge by Carolyn Keene, and this one I have never read before. I picked it up last summer. I don't know what it's about, and there's not really like a summary or anything, so I'm basically just going into this blind entirely. I don't know. There's a bridge, and maybe something's haunted, or somebody says it's haunted, and Nancy's like, come on now, there's no such thing as ghosts, you know, that kind of thing. I have no idea. And then I also would like to read Time Cat by Lloyd Alexander. I love Lloyd Alexander, and this seems to be a little bit different than some of his other works. It says, Jason has always wondered if cats really have 9 lives. One day his cat Gareth tells him his secret. Gareth can take Jason around the world across all time on 9 amazing adventures. In the wink of an eye, they are floating down the Nile and just basically going on all kinds of magical adventures. So, time travel, cats, we love to see it. And the next up is 2 rereads. So I have Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine, which is a retelling of Cinderella. It is my favorite retelling of Cinderella. I adored this book as a kid. I read it a fuck ton. Have not read it since, I don't know, when was the last time I read it? Junior high, maybe? Yeah, I've not read it in years, so really want to get into that again. And then last year, decided, I found this and I was excited about it. It is the anniversary edition of Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli, and this was a book that I was obsessed with as a child. We had this in my classroom a couple of years I was in school, and I read it so much. I loved it. So I'm happy to get back into this again. So my priority reads. So I've got priority fiction. So priority fiction, as far as that goes, I'm trying to have like 1 per month, but I haven't fully decided what I want my third one to be. So at this moment, we're going with getting back into Raise the Titanic by Clive Cussler. I can't find my copy, it's floating around somewhere. But I would like to get to that this spring, just because, I mean, April is like the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic, so I felt like maybe that would be appropriate to like read more having to do with the Titanic around then. And also I figure spring is a good time to jumpstart what I talked about as one of my goals for this year, which is to do a reading of all of the Clive Cusslers that I own, like chronologically. I've got some that I want to reread and some that are new to me. So yeah, I figured like March, April, May, that's a good time for me to start that read, because heavily I think Clive Cussler to me feels like summertime, you know, exciting adventures having to do with the ocean a lot of the times. So yeah, I figured we'll just start it in spring and continue on, because there's a bunch that I have, and I have a lot of other things I want to get to as well. And Raise the Titanic is basically, there is a secret like substance, I believe, or something that's like a piece of weaponry or something that went down with the Titanic, and bad people are searching for it. So Numa, which is where the hero Dirk Pitt works for them, they are tasked with trying to go down and find the Titanic, first of all, and second of all, raise it from the depths to make sure that they can get their hands on that dangerous like item or substance or whatever it is before the bad guys get it, basically. And this was before Robert Ballard actually found the Titanic, and we knew that it was confirmed that it had split into two. So they thought it was still in one piece and they could actually pick it up back then. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little time capsule of what the fuck. Yeah, I want to get to that. And then my other priority fiction that I want to get to this spring is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I just need to rip the band-aid off and go for it. Like, I keep waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. Let's just fucking go for it. So I'd rather get to this sooner rather than later. And I figured, honestly, that this would tie in kind of nicely with the books, also a couple of the non-fiction priority reads that I've chosen for the springtime as well. If you don't know, this is following a girl named Star, and she's kind of has one foot in a couple of different worlds. She has her very diverse neighborhood full of family and friends that she knows so well, and she loves a community that she's always been a part of. And then also the predominantly white rich prep school world that she is also in. And she's kind of been juggling that, but things get way more complicated after she witnesses her childhood best friend being shot by the police. And yeah, not fun times. Important things, but not fun things. As far as my nonfiction reads are, the other things that I thought would tie in nicely with that are, firstly, Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is, I believe it's a letter he wrote. Yeah, I believe this is a letter that the author wrote for his son, and also basically for the world, and trying to tackle what it's like to be a black person, especially a black man, growing up in the current world climate, and especially in the United States, where there's so many complicated shit going on. So I wanted to pick this one up sooner than later, and I thought that this would be almost like I'm in school. You know, when you were in school, it seemed like sometimes, at least to me growing up, it seemed sometimes like if we were discussing something in social studies and reading books in that or whatever, well, the English teacher also had us reading books that had similar themes or set in the same time period, kind of like trying to really dig into things and make you think more. So that's what I'm trying to do for myself, to have more of the same kind of topics, and think about a lot of different things. So I want to pick that up this year, and also involving all of that, I also wanted to read Notes of a Native Son by James Baldwin, which is along the same lines, basically, just this was published in 1955. So an older look at things, and it's a series of his essays, again, on what it's like to be a black man living in the world at that time, and having grown up in, like, I think he's got a lot that has to do with him growing up in Harlem. So yeah, I thought that reading these either in tandem or around the same kind of time period would be like a good way of looking at things, gaining perspective, you know, stuff like that. And my last priority read that I want to get to in the spring is Audrey Hepburn, An Elegant Spirit, and this is by Sean Hepburn Farrar, and this is, yeah, it's the book he wrote about his mother's life. Has a lot of really sweet pictures in here. I absolutely adore Audrey Hepburn. I love her as an actress. I think she was the kindest woman. She was absolutely beautiful and lovely. She was an activist, and, like, I don't know, I just think she was so awesome. So I felt that springtime felt like a good time to dig into her life a little bit. Other than that, I have, let's see, what, 4 books? 4 books left that just kind of feel springy to me. First of all, which is also another nonfiction, and it is Abroad in Japan by Chris Broad. I don't know, maybe I think it looks like spring because it's got cherry blossoms on it. But this is about Chris Broad's 10 years that he has spent living in Japan. He is an Englishman who moved there to do teaching, to be like an English teacher in a Japanese school, and then he kind of stayed because he had started a YouTube channel to just kind of deal with his culture shock and just talk about his experiences and show what it's like to live on exchange basically over in Japan. And he ended up staying, getting very involved in tourism, meeting a lot of really cool people. And yeah, so this is a book about his experiences, and I love his channel. And then let's see what else have I got. I've got a couple of classics, and I have another one that may feel random or it might feel sacrilegious. I don't know. I have never read any Christopher Moore before, but my therapist actually recommended him to me. So I have 2 books of his now, but I felt like maybe starting with this one. It is Lamb, The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Pal. This is why I'm saying maybe it feels sacrilegious to read this in the spring around Easter time, maybe, but it tickles me a little, tickles my funny bone a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, this is everything from the point of view of Biff, his best friend. I don't know what to expect from a Christopher Moore. I've heard a lot of different things, but it sounds like he's maybe like a more darker humor than Terry Pratchett, I'm guessing, something like that. But I do know that a while back when I was getting this book, I read part of chapter 1 and it cracked me up, and I was like, okay, well, I'm probably gonna like this. And I have a couple of classics, the first of which I think is a good spring read. It is Heidi by Joanna Spyri, and this is a classic tale of a little girl who was sent to live with her grandfather up in the Alps, and her experiences up there, and her experiences also trying to be more civilized and stuff. I'm sure if you don't know the story, you haven't read it, you've probably seen the Shirley Temple movie, you've seen some other version, I don't know. It's been around for a long time. And then I really want to read some more Dickens, and I feel like Great Expectations is a pretty good read for spring or summer. So this is one that I feel like if I don't manage to get to it by the end of spring, it also works as a summer read. It's about a journey, sort of, in a manner of speaking. This is following Pip. He is an orphan. When he's visiting his family's graves, he's grabbed by an escaped convict who terrorizes him into stealing food. At home, his older sister abuses him, basically. Her husband loves and protects him. Pip wants to be his brother-in-law's apprentice, but things happen. Miss Havisham, who is this really wealthy recluse, summons Pip to her bizarre and decaying manor to play with her beautiful ward Estella. Even though Estella's basically kind of a bitch to him, Pip falls in love with her, and he makes it his goal to improve himself. So she will potentially love him, and seems like there's also a lawyer involved. There's like any Dickens, there's a lot of different shit happening in here. But yeah, I really want to read some more Dickens, and I feel like this is a good one for around now. So yeah, guys, that is everything that I want to get to in the spring. It's a lot of shit. I don't think I can even hold all of this up to show you. But yeah, a lot of things that I want to get to, a lot of things I'm really excited to get to. Yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be a great couple of future months. Anyway, Let me know if you guys have read any of these, if you think that I should get to, I don't know, any of them a little bit sooner than I've said. I'm gonna really attempt to get to all of them, but you know how it is. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for always watching. If you're new here and would like to subscribe, please consider doing so, and I will see you guys in the next video.